Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. It's our third exciting live stream with Brandy, who we believe is a Medbed user. If there's any story, Medbed story that would really has gripped my attention and has me believing in it is Brandy's story because she has screenshots. I think a lot of people have talked about med beds and this and that, but either they're trying to sell a product or they really don't have much to back it up. Brandy may not have screenshots of any med bed technology. She does have incredible healing story to share, and she has screenshots, so many screenshots, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of screenshots, and they are incredible, showing a lot of paranormal activity that can't be explained. And she has incredible advanced healing story. I believe this is one of the most convincing medbed stories out there because we have advanced creatures, advanced technology, and advanced healing all in one story. So to introduce Brandy, here she is. This is our third stream. Let us know in the comment section how the audio sounds today. It should be a lot better than it was last time. I apologize. Last time it was there was problems, but it should be good today. And now we can actually focus on the content, which is Brandy's story, which is super interesting. Did you want to share a little bit about yourself, Brandy, to open up the stream?
Yeah, hi Peter. I'm excited to be here. Third time's the charm, right? We've
Yeah,
given it a shot a
exactly.
couple times, so hopefully today it's going to be much better. My ears are
Exactly.
super
Okay.
tiny, so I keep losing my headphones, but that's okay. We'll make it through. Um, so yeah, I went through an amazing healing. I did get into a research study, which is how I believe that they use this technology on me. I had been very, very sick for many years, chronically ill, and became disabled in 2011. But I had had previous health issues before that. But officially, I became disabled in 2011. And
Wow.
so before I kind of jump into it, I'm now bartending at 50. Oh, I just had a birthday yesterday. I'm actually
Wow. Happy
53.
birthday.
Thank you. It was a great day. I have some great customers that came in and just were incredibly generous. So I just want to also say thank you to them because there are a few of them that wanted to watch this today. So, but
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it was awesome. It was actually a great night.
Mhm.
Um, Also probably why I look a little tired. When we do these live streams, I'm usually working the night before, and so I didn't get to bed until about 4 a.m. So anyway,
Absolutely.
please
It happens.
excuse the
It
bags under my
happens.
eyes. Yeah.
Well,
um,
why don't we just start going through the screenshots, and then maybe because the audio is so good, you can go over your story again with these screenshots. Maybe talk a little bit about how um when these creatures start visiting, what was your first experience, and what different types of things you started noticing outside your window, and why you started taking screenshots. And then
yeah.
I'll get the picture set up here for you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I got into this research study with my rare genetics. So I have a couple of rare genetic mutations, and one of them is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is bad connective tissue. I'm the hypermobile type, which meant that my joints would dislocate very easily. Um, Dealt with that my whole life. Progressively, kind of got worse and worse, but definitely, it was a challenge my whole life. And then I have another rare genetic mutation called oculodentodigital dysplasia, and which is a really big word, but interesting enough, they call it odd. So, which I find hilarious because I'm a little odd, so I'm okay with that. But, and so the Ehlers-Danlos syndrome got me into the research study, but the doctor that I saw, she was a geneticist, but she also works in cancer, which she didn't tell me. I had to find that out by digging on her after this all started. One night, there was a very loud knock on my door. I did not answer the door because it was 11 p.m. and I was by myself, a little scared. And um, so I didn't answer the door, but I did look out my Ring camera. And initially, the first scene. It almost looked like there were like it was a they were holograms at times. Um, and certainly I saw there's many screenshots of lights and things like that and little there was always this, or a lot of times there was this green color that had to do with a lot of the photos, but or red, it would be green or red sometimes.
Mhm.
um but the first scene that I saw was SOSs everywhere and what appeared to me as medical crosses. Something, a side note on the medical crosses, my boyfriend happened to come across a photo the other day and shared it with me,
Mhm.
and it was really interesting. He had seen it and kind of made a correlation between the medical crosses. I would have to look back and see
That's
exactly what
interesting.
that was, but
Yeah.
and maybe
If people
we'll visit that on another live. But
exactly.
um,
Do you mind
it
if I interrupt, Brandy, real quick?
sure.
On this live stream, if you just joined, the types of paranormal phenomena we're going to see in these photos, there are lots of these little robots. We're going to see faces. We're going to see bright lights, different types of orbs, these tree alien creatures, so these praying mantis creatures. There, she's captured quite a lot of paranormal. I would argue, out in terms of paranormal phenomenon visiting a person's house, I can't think of any person who has this many screenshots of a different varieties of different paranormal phenomenon of different things that were visiting our house around this time. So if you're doubting Brandy for a second, Brandy brought receipts. She has thousands of screenshots. She's got the evidence. She has more evidence than any other Medbed story I have ever heard. So we're going to be looking at that evidence today, and she's going to be talking about it. But I will just say that when I saw this evidence, you can ask Brandy, I was floored, and I was like, "Whoa, you got a treasure trove of precious photos of paranormal phenomenon here. This is incredible, Brandy."
Yeah,
Anyway, continue your story.
I actually ended up in the end about 30,000 screenshots, which is difficult to go
Wow.
through and try to find the best pictures because it's so much. And I'm working, don't have a lot of time or energy to kind of do that. But and so when I wrote my book, Chronically Ill No More, I actually tried to go through and get as many of some of the best photos, but even that was tough. And so I had picked out about 300 of my favorites that I did send to Peter. And
Mm,
there's so much more, but a lot of times I was taking triple screenshots just to make sure I got the shot. Also, sometimes I was a little late in being able to do the screenshot because at times I would look at this stuff and I would just say, "What in the world? What is that?" And so I before screenshotting, I would like there was a hologram picture of my face outside my house, and initially I was just so floored by it that I didn't get a screenshot initially. As it started to kind of
wow.
dissipate, I got the screenshot, but that's somewhere in all of my screenshots. But yeah, some of these are of course, because I was seeing these things on a regular
Mhm,
basis, it was very
mhm,
easy for me to see what I was seeing. And
mhm,
so one of the biggest challenges with this type of thing, with this type of with these
mhm,
pictures, is
mhm.
being able to actually point out in the picture, because once you see it, you see it. But until you
Exactly.
see it, some of them are a
Yeah.
little blurry,
And
because of
so
course I was also zooming in on things because there were
mhm,
certain things that I wanted to capture more than other things. And so, of course,
yeah,
that made things a little bit blurry. But ultimately, I think if I show people exactly what I was seeing, it's a
they'll
lot
see it too.
easier.
Let's
Yeah.
let's start with this photo here. It was the first ones. I
Okay.
see 3 phenomenon here that we talked about. One is this little green ship or this blob that you see often here,
Yeah.
right here in the center.
Hmm.
We're gonna see this in a lot of photos. And then there's a face. Is this a tree that we're looking at that the face is projected on?
Yeah. No, actually, it's my wall. Can you
It's a
see my
wall.
cursor? Yeah.
Yeah, so
Can you
there's a
see my
face on
cursor?
here.
Yeah. Here's the eye. You can see my cursor.
No, I have to figure out how to
Oh,
share screen to do that. Um, but But if you look closely here, you see an eye in the top right, and then a nose in the middle and a mouth. Let me see if I can. Would you be able to put up, if I shared screen, would you be able to put up the photos there and then look over
No,
the,
I don't have them on. No, that's
yeah, that's
okay.
the
Are
thing. You
you
can't put your
able to
cursor
point?
over my, you can't put your cursor over my screen. So if you can get the photos up on your laptop while doing this, then I can share screen and we can show that. If not, you did show me last time where a lot of these things are, so I can
Yeah,
zoom in on them.
right.
Also, these two lights that are on the side, is this another thing on the left?
Yeah, those were typically there were 3 of them most of the
Yeah,
time, and
typically three.
so I called them the 3 little guys.
Is this
Um,
is this two of them right here again on
yes,
the
yes,
right? So here they
yes.
are, those two things. But you said normally it was three lights.
Yeah, occasionally there would be 2, but, yeah, there were usually 3, mostly 3.
Mm,
There's
mm.
Batman.
Yeah. So do you want to tell people what your porch light normally looks like? Let's see if I, oh, here's a good photo here, because here we see those three lights. They're usually lined
Mhm.
up
Yes.
over here. This weird three light thing. These are usually the two lights or three light thing she sees. And then on the other side here, we have these classic orbs that we're gonna see
Mhm.
more photos of on the left.
Yeah, and
So
a
we
lot
see
of
it
times
just,
there were sorry to interrupt you. There were
no, go
things
ahead.
inside the orbs at a lot of times. If I when I zoomed into the pictures and kind of put them on a bigger screen, you're able,
Uh-huh.
even in this orb possibly, you may be able to see almost like little robot looking guys, but um
Hmm.
and even the 3 little guys over there, when I zoomed in, to me, they look like little robot faces, but,
Mm.
it's tough to tell. So this is what the porch light look like normally,
This
as
is a
far
normal
as
screenshot. Yeah.
yeah,
So
there is
just
that little, light right there, and an orb, but there is, right there on the, pole, right
yeah.
next to the pole, the little white light down
On
below.
the bottom?
Yeah, right there. That light
Gotcha.
changed a lot of times from white to green and
Interesting.
looked very different at times. There are screenshots in here, but
Hmm.
sometimes it would be green and it looked almost like a bed was in there or a doorway or so we'll see some of that. But
That's very
so
interesting.
yeah,
I
this started kind of kicked it all off when I saw the SOSs and the medical crosses, and for whatever reason, I didn't make the correlation with the research study in this happening. Strangely enough, the geneticist that I saw, one of the questions that she asked me when I met with her was, "What's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you?" Before this all
Oh my
started.
gosh. What a
And
weird
so
question.
right? I thought
Well,
that was
all the look at
very
this photo. She's asking around the time. This photo shows three different paranormal phenomenon in a
mhm,
single photo. That is incredible. This is a incredible photo, and you can tell this is not AI generated. We already looked at that last live stream. It'd be impossible or extremely difficult to generate 30,000 screenshots AI generated in this style. We're not tech experts here. And in this
no.
photo, we have on the bottom right, you see this orb, this big orb
Mhm.
blob that she says would turn white and green. And you said red sometimes?
That one did not turn red. The
Okay, so white
actual
and
porch
green.
light would turn red.
Yeah, the
Um,
porch light would, so the porch light is always supposed to be this white color, right?
yes, yes.
So when it would turn red and orange, that's just abnormal.
Red and green. Yeah, it
Red and green.
was
Gotcha. I'm
yeah,
colorblind.
it's okay.
Gotcha.
It was not ever a situation where the actual porch lights were, the light bulbs were changed. That never happened. And so you'll see in some of these photos that sometimes the porch light would be green and sometimes it would be red, sometimes it would be white.
Wow.
I didn't think
Incredible.
about it at the time, but I now kind of think that possibly they were telling me, okay, green light means they're doing something, red light means they're not. But
Mm.
so the first night when I saw all this, I couldn't, I started taking screenshots. Excuse me, somewhere I do have screenshots of the SOS and the medical crosses. I have not found them yet, but I do have them
I
somewhere.
saw one. I saw with some medical crosses. I'll pull it up
Yes, there
when I
are.
have a
I did
second.
get the medical crosses, but I don't think I sent you the SOSs because I haven't come
Oh
across
yeah.
those yet. But um, so the next day after that, I was laying in bed, and all of a sudden, this frequency vibration, there it's red. This
Wow.
vibration
This
hit
is
me.
abnormal here. Hmm.
Yeah, when the frequency hit me, it hit me hard, and it was painful in everywhere that I was having pain. And so it wasn't intolerable or, something I couldn't handle, but I didn't know what was happening. And so I started rolling around the bed trying to get away from it. And because I didn't know, I thought it was being targeted. And then all of a sudden I come across this group of people called targeted individuals, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, am I being targeted? And they're trying to hurt me.
Oh my
And
gosh.
but then I had to realize, I saw SOSs, and I thought to myself, okay, I believe whatever is happening for the greater good, and that, something good is happening. I don't know
Yeah,
why I knew that, but I did.
you had that gut
And
feeling.
yeah,
Can
I
you
had a
pause right
gut
there?
feeling.
I'm gonna just recap your whole story for the people who just joined us. Brandy, basically, from my understanding, is that she had a multitude of health problems, was disabled, in her bed, and her life was normal other than her, being totally disabled with multiple different health problems. She was lying in bed, and then all of a sudden she hears a knock on a door. Um, no one's outside, and although that sounds totally normal, it happens every once in a while. After that, she starts noticing wild paranormal phenomenon. It looks like at least a dozen different types of paranormal phenomenon outside on her ring camera. I've never seen this amount of paranormal phenomenon. And she starts getting this beam of energy hitting her. And then this is going to lead to a point where she gets actually taken somewhere as well. So she's going to get to that. But so far, she basically had health problems, knock on the door, paranormal phenomena started happening. She gets hit with this beam, and then healing starts happening. But she trusts it because she's getting good vibes from what she's seeing and the energy and everything she's seeing out here in the ring camera. So she trusts this. Anyway, continue your story, Brandy. It's very, very,
Yeah,
very interesting.
and this was after getting into a research study, which is super important to note because
Yes,
I
very
do
important.
believe that this
The
had
research
something to
one.
do with the research study.
Absolutely.
I'm not sure, people have asked me, what do you think it was? I believe in my mind, or maybe it was how I was able to get through. A lot of people have said, oh, it was aliens. Some people say it was possibly the military. Some people say, that maybe it was both. Some people say it was spiritual. But, no matter what it was good because I came out of this healed. But, um, so the geneticist that I saw, I
Mhm.
had said this before, but she worked in cancer and didn't tell me that. I had previously had cancer. I'm a cancer survivor. And so, but I had a whole lot wrong with me in different areas of my body. And I feel like that made me a really good candidate for them to try this technology on me.
Mm,
That's
smart.
sort of what I
Interesting.
believe. And
That that makes sense. That makes a lot
yeah.
of sense. So there was a research study you had of wide variety of problems. You're
Hmm.
obviously a good person. Ever since I started talking to Brandy, I can tell
Oh,
she's a good person. If you're going to use
thank
this
you.
technology on someone, you want to use it on someone who I feel like that deserves it. Brandy definitely is that type of person. Good
Oh,
person, just in a tough spot. We didn't even get to the fact that she's being followed by Trump on social media, and she got a literal, guys, you're not gonna believe this. She got a happy birthday from Trump
I
on his
did.
social media, guys. I can't, I gotta show this right now because you're not gonna believe me.
So how that
Everything she says, she backs it up with proof. It's crazy.
let me tell you how that happened. In my
Yeah,
book,
yeah.
as I was going through this experience, I my son was in the military, and he had been
Ronaldo, happy birthday, me, Brandy.
yeah. He had been deployed twice, and I was freaking out, of course, as all military parents do, and did not want my son to die over somebody's agenda that I couldn't get behind. And so at the time, I wrote some poetry, political poetry that is in my book. And I shared the poem about being a military mom with Trump. And so he responded, he liked it, he followed me, and then I made a comment about
Wow.
it being my birthday, and he told me happy birthday. So that was pretty amazing.
That is
Uh,
amazing. So
yeah.
you shared this with Trump. You emailed this to him or you sent it via slow mail?
So no, I shared a poem on X with
Oh,
him,
wow.
and
Wow.
one of the poems from my book. I did later on, after my book was published, I did send him and someone else. We'll get to that in a moment when we see the robot. But I did send both people that I thought in the world possibly were involved, along with a whole lot of others. That I wanted to send them my book and signed it.
Absolutely.
When I sent it to Trump, I signed it and I said, I'd love to make a movie about this story because I think it's an amazing story.
Mhm.
And 6 days or so after he got, it was 4 to 6 days after he got my book, he came out on X and said, I guess we're making a movie. I guess we're movie makers. So I was
Wow.
like, please be talking about me. And then the other person that I sent the book to, which was Elon, the reason that I thought he was involved was because of the robot I captured, which is the cover of my book. I circled the robot that I captured in that
Yeah.
screenshot. And about
So
4 days after he got my book, he came out on X and said, we implanted a Neuralink into a human with a robot. And I immediately thought, you mean like the robot on my patio? Because certainly during the time of this healing, I went through many changes. One of the things that they showed me was a hologram picture, which I believe is in these screenshots, but there was a hologram of me. I didn't realize it was me at the time. It looked just like this little person guy. I didn't know what it was. And
mhm,
it looked
mhm,
like the lips were being removed and put back on, the eyes were being
mhm.
taken out and put back in. I mean, it kind of freaked me out at first. I was like, what in the
Wow.
world? I now believe that what they were showing me was you're about to go through a transformation. And I will
Mm,
tell you that that is exactly what I went through. I went through
mm,
pretty much changes in every aspect as far as physical, emotional. I had
mm,
PTSD, anxiety, and
mhm,
depression,
mhm, mhm.
and along with severe chronic pain. I was a 10 out of 10 pain patient and
My
became
gosh,
bedbound
really?
and couldn't walk
Jesus.
without a wheelchair. And so
Wow.
it was, for me now to be walking, and not just walking, but actually trying to get off of disability and bartending, it for me is
Incredible.
amazing.
It
It's a miracle, really.
it
But
it is. She had 5 herniated discs. Let's briefly go over and list all these different health problems she had, and then what I'd like to do, if you're okay with it, Brandy, to list the health problems, like you to talk about that time that, they did LASIK eye surgery on you, when you
that's what
got
it felt
taken up.
like.
And then I'd
Yeah,
love to get more into these screenshots because these screenshots for me are undeniable proof on top of, she's got a published book, people. She's followed by Trump, happy birthday by Trump. She was in this whole experiment, this research experiment. And I would just say for people who are like, "Oh, Peter, she's talking about Neuralink, which is a new technology and what
mhm,
she's talking about is more advanced than that." If you want me to bridge the gap, Elon has been working with Trump for a very long time. Trump's admitted he's been friends for a long time. Elon's also had the highest level classification in the government for the highest time. So he knows exactly what's going on. He's had access to incredible technology. And I'll tell you for a fact that the government has extremely advanced technology that's way more advanced than anything the public has. So just because
mhm,
you see Neuralink in its infancy on the public scale, it doesn't mean it's been already tested and tried and proven to be effective privately among whatever's happening to people like Brandy or me or whoever, when these things happen, when people get taken, we're not sure if it's the military or what's going on. There are things happening to these people. They get chips inside, there are experiments going on. Brandy had miraculous healing events. Why don't you, now that we're at peak 15 viewers, the most we've had so far, let's list all these miraculous healings that you've had over the course of a few years. And then I'll
yeah,
explain why I'm so impressed with that. But let's list all the
yeah,
miraculous healings that you went through during this period of time. And then I'd love to hear the LASIK story and how you were walking again, because those are
yeah.
incredible parts of your story.
So it's tough because there were so many things going on with me. Sometimes I forget one or two, but we'll probably pick it back up at some point if I do forget them. But
I'll list them out.
basically, I
Yeah.
had two rare genetic mutations, that one that caused
Yeah.
my joints to dislocate easily. Um, I
Huh.
also had, I had previously had cancer, pulmonary embolisms.
Mhm.
I had herniated discs, spinal stenosis,
Five
degenerative disc
herniated
disease.
disc.
Yeah.
Five, right?
Yeah.
Five, that's big deal. That is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with one of them right now, and it's driving me crazy. Five, I can't imagine.
Well,
Five
because
herniated discs.
ultimately my even my spine would dislocate very easily. So my discs popped out easier than
Oh,
most people.
oh.
And so
So you said herniated disc, cancer survivor, genetic mutations where things were slipping
mhm.
out.
Yeah,
Cholesterol was one of them too, right?
diabetes. I had become a
Diabetes.
diabetic. I had
Your eyes.
severe acid reflux to the point where I couldn't even lay down flat because the acid would just flow out of me.
Wow. Acid
Um,
reflux. And
I
your
do
eyes as
believe
well, right?
Yeah, yeah, I was wearing glasses. I've not had to wear glasses since this because as they would work on me, they would show me outside, me
Tell us
laying
that
on my
story.
stomach and or,
Mhm.
and it felt I could feel them working on my back, which I
Mm.
know sounds crazy, but it's true. And then they showed me holding my eyes open, so I did that, and then it felt like they were doing laser surgery on my eyes, and I did not have to wear glasses after that. They
That is crazy.
also
So
they
let's get
also
into that a little bit because you're glossing over it like it's not the most amazing thing that's ever happened, and it's quite amazing. So I've had LASIK eye surgery before, and it's a very lengthy process where there's a massive machine they put over your head.
Mhm,
It takes like 30-40 minutes, and and you have your eyes open like this. And what Brandy was experiencing is not only this paranormal phenomenon outside of her door, but they were directing her. There were these
mhm,
creatures in trees shooting out these holograms, showing her images of faces and things, giving her directions, plus sign, SOS, giving her signs. And one of those directions was lying down so they could work on her back. And one of them was actually open your eyes, open your eyes. Think
mhm.
about this for a second, guys. She's literally looking at her ring camera, seeing hologram projections, telling her to open her eyes, and they're so convincing. She's going like this, like a crazy person, and then all
Right.
of a sudden, literally lasers go into her eyes, and she's healed. Her eyes are healed. If this is
Yeah.
not medbed technology or some form of medbed technology, guys, I don't know what is. Like this
Well,
is crazy that this happened.
and let me
I've
just
never
say
heard of
too,
this.
I think some people assume that a med bed is like, oh, it's all intact bed, you get into it. I don't doubt that that's the case, but I also think that it's important for people to, open their mind a little bit and think that there might be pieces of the med bed that they've put together from other technologies, such as maybe a Neuralink. The Neuralink is something that helps people walk that are paralyzed. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
that's highly possible. When they were working on my joints, um,
Mm,
I looked out my Ring camera and I saw a beautiful painting, it looked like. And at
mm,
the bottom of that was a signature. I was able to read the name, and so I looked up that name. I live in
mm.
Tucson, Arizona, and the name was a orthopedic
Wow.
surgeon in Phoenix. And let me also say, from the research study, I had gotten a neurologist in Phoenix, and we had
Wow.
had a meeting, a video conference because COVID happened and I couldn't get in to see him. So
Mhm,
he called me about somewhere between 2 to 5 days after the frequency started,
mhm,
and I didn't have an appointment with him. He
mm.
called me and immediately said, and this is exactly how it sounded. He said, "How does your back feel?" And
Wow.
I said, "Do you know about the frequency?"
Wow.
And he would
That's
not
crazy.
answer that question. I asked him 3 times, but he was very much trying to hone in on where my pain was, how much, where what was my number. And I found that really interesting, which was another reason that I believed that it had to do with the research study, because of kind of how
Yeah.
my doctors reacted. And I told, even after my healing, and I went back to my doctor, because I was coming off all my medicine during this time as I was being healed. And because my pain got, became less and less. And so I was on a fentanyl patch, I was on hydromorphone,
Wow.
PTSD, anxiety, depression medicine. I was on a whole lot of medication. And
Wow.
I started titrating my medication down by myself because I thought, well, if I don't need this, I'm not going to keep taking it. And when I took in
Wow.
when I came into my doctor's appointment and I had one little piece of my fentanyl patch and I handed it to him, I said, "This is it. I'm off everything." And he was like, "What? You did that by yourself? Did you get sick?" I said, "Oh, I got very sick because I did it within a month. I was
Wow.
off all medicine." But so, and the way that they reacted to me, I mean, normally a doctor would be like, "Okay, you're seeing beings outside your house. You're saying you're being healed with a frequency." They probably would have committed me. You know what I mean? If they didn't know about it. I do believe that my doctors were under an NDA. I
Yeah,
addressed this on the
likely.
last live, but I will repeat it, that a lot of people say, "Oh, she wasn't healed because she would have had to sign an NDA." Well, when you're experimented on and they're not telling you what they're using on you, they don't ask you to sign an NDA.
There you go.
And so I think people need to understand that. That's one of the biggest
Yeah.
things people have said in kind of against my story, is that, "Oh, there's no way she," and there are other medbed people out on the internet saying, that have insider information and are saying, "Oh, if anybody says they're being healed with this technology, they're
Mhm.
lying." I'm
Yeah.
not lying. I have no reason to lie. I have no reason to put myself out in the
Yeah.
public eye
Yeah.
to be ostracized, which I have
Yeah,
been.
you get attacked, you get
Oh,
labeled
I've
crazy, ostracized,
absolutely.
friends and family don't wanna interact with you. I know what that's like. I've been through these paranormal experiences, you talk about them, and then you're immediately the cuckoo person, and
Right.
then people are like, "Wow, that person's gone off the rocker. I need to distance
Yeah.
myself from crazy." And it's really unfortunate because these are legitimate experiences that are not just
Yeah.
happening to Brandy, they're happening worldwide. Millions of Americans are reporting weird phenomenon. We should pay attention instead of ignoring these people and hear the stories. And Brandy, if you're just joining us now, has the most incredible healing medbed story I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm not even joking. Just listen, just
So
summarize
let
real
me
quick what we
quickly,
have here.
sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to also
Go ahead.
add to that, the what one of my doctors said to me when I told them what I believed was happening, which was that I was being healed with technology that's not out yet. I said I believed it was partly Nikola
Wow.
Tesla technology.
Wow.
I told him who in the world I thought was involved.
Wow.
And my doctor came back at me with, "Wow, you're amazing." He said, "I don't know what you're going to do next, but I want to follow you."
What?
So
No way.
if I was crazy and this didn't
Wouldn't he call you
happen,
crazy?
what's that?
If you were crazy, wouldn't he say you're crazy to think all
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, yeah, and that's how I knew with
Wow.
that they were probably under NDAs and couldn't say a lot. He said more than most other of the other doctors, but I knew right then and there that I had been experimented on with technology. It is not a coincidence, or I don't believe it's a coincidence, that as I was being healed, people were starting to talk about med beds, and that is why I believe that it is medbed technology, because
Absolutely.
there's no
And
I it just the coincidence of people starting to talk about it as I was being healed just seems way too,
right?
yeah,
Coincidence?
so
Yeah, right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
so
when I've looked into these med bed technologies, the real deals, what's being built, what's being made right now, is being done through energies, frequencies, light energies. It could be that, and here's my guess, but then I would like to hear your story again
so
about how you were taken up, because I think at that point you could have been placed in a med bed and not even known it.
So let
That's
me
my
just
theory.
quickly,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I do believe that that's probably uh possibly the case. But
You want to tell that story?
also what I found out after my healing, probably in
Mhm.
the last 6 months, I believe, there's someone on X that I follow, and he talks a lot about med beds. And he came out and said that Raytheon in Tucson, Arizona, uh, have a part in building the med beds, that they've worked with the military and they're actually the ones that are in charge of coming out with this technology. And immediately I was like, so
Wow.
what you're saying is the
Wow.
technology that I've said I was being healed with is being
Stop it.
created in the same city that I
Stop it.
live.
Stop it, Brandy. Brandy, you're
Yeah.
driving me crazy. This is insane information. Guys, just
Yeah.
let's look at this from a logical perspective. You have a research study, military involved, Tucson Medbed technology being built with that military where Brandy is. She's experiencing these healings. She's getting
Hmm.
taken up, and it's confirmed from enough evidence that I've seen that some of these abductions, sometimes when they take you, sometimes these are military experiments.
Hmm.
And she already, so there's just all these connections that seem to be pointing to the fact that this is at a very bare minimum, they're beta testing medbed technology on her at a bare
Right.
minimum. Whether she
Right.
was she in a full medbed prototype, I don't know. I can't confirm that. No one can confirm that.
Well,
But
let
this
me
is
also
all the
say,
elements of a great medbed story.
yeah, let me also
Incredible.
say, if you think about it in these terms, Nikola Tesla created the direct energy weapon, and that is basically where you can use almost like a death ray, a frequency to harm, like during a war situation or something like that. However, if you think about it, it could also be used to heal. If you can throw a frequency anywhere, then you can throw good frequencies just like you can throw bad frequencies. And I don't know how I knew that it was Nikola Tesla technology. I was getting what I would describe as downloads, where I was
Downloads.
getting information and I had no
Absolutely.
idea where the information was coming from, and I just knew things that I did not previously know. I didn't even know who Nikola Tesla was, really. I knew the name, but I didn't know anything about him, did not know he had anything to do with energy, frequency, vibration, any of that.
Mhm.
And so I started doing writing. I started writing in notepads, and I filled up 3 notepads with information that I was getting, whether it be about me. So let me talk about when I was taken up. I was actually
Yes,
taken
please.
up somewhere twice.
Yes.
And
Let's talk about that.
please remind me to talk about on the second one what I wrote in my notepad after, because
Absolutely.
I skipped that on our last live, and I
Okay.
think it's a pretty amazing thing. But anyway, the first time I was taken up, I was in bed. It was at night, and I was wide awake. It's not like I was having some sort of sleep paralysis. I was wide awake in my room by myself in bed, and all of a sudden it was like I felt like I was just shot up somewhere. And
Hmm.
what I saw was what appeared to me as like the inside of some sort of silver ship, or silver room, I guess, because I don't know it was a ship. I just saw a room. There were beings there, but they were blurry. I couldn't see them, but I knew that they were there. And then I saw a big black snake, and I immediately said to them, "You know, I'm scared of snakes." And then the snake bit me. I was then dropped back into my bed immediately, and I had to hobble to the bathroom, which was very close to my bed, but I had to get up and hobble to the bathroom to get sick. So immediately as I was brought
Wow.
back, I had to get sick. And the next day was the first day that I could walk without the wheelchair. Now, I thought about
Wow.
this and how the snake was involved and why. And so I don't know if either that's when possibly the Neuralink was implanted, or I have heard that they've done research into snake venom and how it can actually help paralyze people. So whichever it was, I don't know. But after that happened, I started having some really weird experiences,
Clearly.
including having almost like some telepathic. I just knew, like if somebody lied to me or said something or tried to act like, a certain way, I could read through them. I mean, I've always been like that, but it was like my spiritual gifts were incredibly heightened during this time.
Mhm.
I was seeing, there's a gentleman named David Pilates. He does a lot of he does a movie series called Missing 411 about people that go missing in national parks. I saw a newspaper article of him during this time, and I was seeing these little fairies everywhere in the woods around him. And I contacted him because I was like, what am I? What? I mean, this was a newspaper article. Obviously, there's not going to be fairies in the newspaper article. So I contacted him and said, I'm sorry, I'm going through something. I don't know what I'm going through, but are there fairies in this photo? And he responded with no. And he said, but, you're going through something beautiful, is what he said. I don't know how he knew to say, I don't even know. I didn't at the time know what he was even talking about, but it was indeed a very beautiful experience. So the next time I was taken up, what I saw was, and again, I'm wide awake. What I saw was a big tree and a doorway in the trunk of the tree. And so I pushed it open, and immediately, like, the most beautiful, brightest light came through. I was just surrounded by it. I was, it felt warm. It felt like love. Just almost like waves and waves of love were hitting me. And I heard a voice, and it said, Brandy, you're going to heal. And I did put kind of more of the conversation in my book, which, is a little bit controversial. Some people immediately, when they hear what I was told, have preconceived notions about what that means. So, but, and some of it was very personal, so I didn't put all of it in the book. But, it was immediately as I was dropped back into my bed after that, I believe that I met God. And I had previously, gone through a life of trauma, abuse, lots of things, and a lot of death in my life. And so, I was just not emotionally good. I had a lot of trauma. And so when I was dropped back into my bed, I right away felt amazing. And I felt, it was like right before this, I felt like I was being kind of walked through this, but or guided through, kind of going through a life review of my life, and forgiving people that had hurt me, and forgiving myself if I had hurt anyone, and kind of releasing every person that I had lost, because it almost felt like I was holding on to them, and kind of living in the sadness of their death. And as I kind of went through that life review, I was feeling lighter and lighter and lighter. And I do not doubt that the frequency, because the frequency was on me 24 hours a day. And so I do believe that also that frequency was raising my frequency. And I think it was,
So,
yeah, it
magnet.
was, I mean, I think that's why I was able to meet God. What I believe is that I went through some sort of
Uh,
an ascension. And I definitely went through an awakening. I
wow.
started
Wow.
looking for truth all around the world, and I went down every rabbit hole.
I'm
And
sure.
yeah, and trying to,
Trying
I
to
mean, it was
understand
just like,
this.
I couldn't get it. I was thirsty for truth. I
Yeah.
couldn't get
Yeah.
enough of it. And which is also really interesting when people kind of come at you and say, oh, you're lying or anything. When you're a truth teller or a truth seeker, you're not out in the world lying about things. That's
No,
not
because
what we do.
you're mad about the lies, right? You're
Yeah,
so frustrated. For me, that's the truth seeker thing. It's like I'm so frustrated with the lies. I'm
yeah,
gonna create content with the truth, and I don't care what anyone says. I'm gonna get it out because I'm sick and tired of the lies. The world needs more truth. Brandy is
yes.
very much exactly that. She's been nothing but pure honesty, pure integrity since I met her,
Thank
and
you.
I have had zero reason to doubt her. Look at this screenshot. This is wow. There were, it looks like, dozens of orbs in here, and
Yeah.
then there's that on those three little dots, those three little
Mhm.
guys, as you call them, right here.
Right.
And then look at all these orbs. That's a lot of orbs.
It's a lot of orbs.
Yeah, did you wanna talk a little bit about the different phenomenon you saw outside? I'm gonna take a quick, powder my nose break. I'll be back in 1 minute. If you just
Sure.
wanna take over and just talk about what type of phenomenon you saw outside, and then we go through the screenshots and get through your story some more.
Yes, sure.
Alright, go
So
ahead, Manny.
there were many different things that I saw outside, as you can kind of tell by some of these screenshots, but I did call there were these beings in the trees that sometimes looked like cartoon characters, and it looked like they had black sunglasses on, almost like Men in Black. But they were in the trees along with some other types of beings that I saw. I can't say for sure what those were. I called them the tree people because they were in the trees, and it was just a name that I that I came to on my own. But um, they were in different areas of the yard outside my house, and certainly different. I mean, all different types. And so it was, I mean, the lights are one thing. Now in this picture over here, there's a bright light over to the right, kind of near my little notification. You can see a little notification of, like, a text. That light right there is actually my neighbor's light in his house. So I just wanted to say that that's not included in this picture with the kind of paranormal activity, or whatever it was, military activity, whatever you want to call it. Some people, again, think it was definitely alien. So everybody kind of comes at this story with a little bit of a different perspective as to what they believe it was. Uh, so this right here, this picture, this is the screenshot that's on the cover of my book. And as you can see, there's a green color. Right in the center, there is a round symbol. I saw that symbol multiple times, and I can't tell you what it is,
Yeah,
but I see it
we see it
in,
in a lot of your screenshots. It's in a lot
yeah,
of your screenshots.
yeah, I
It
have
might
no
be an orb,
idea.
might be a ship, and up here on the
Right.
left, it looks like one of those mantis. These eyes
Yeah,
here on the left. Is
right.
that correct?
Yes, and then right below that is the robot that I captured, which just happens to match somebody else's robots in the world, which is why I thought that he was involved. Um, and yeah, and again, like, my patio did not have this green color normally, and the
So this
red
is this
color.
is this a picture from your patio? It's just so crazy,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, that's on my
All these
patio.
screenshots. So just if you just joined in, all these screenshots are being taken by the same camera outside her patio,
Mhm,
but with over a dozen different types of paranormal phenomenon being seen with the same camera. This is a low quality camera. We see just in this, we see the special symbol, we see this mantis on the left, we see what looks
mhm.
like a robot. By the way, a lot of robots up here. This
Okay,
is
so
the
this
blob, the white blob, right?
Yeah, this was the little white light
Close
that
up.
was by the pole. Okay, so now it's green, and it looks like there's a doorway. It looks like, almost like um, you
I'll
can
zoom
walk
in.
up to it. Yeah, I know, it's
Little
hard to
doorway.
that's the doorway right there. That's what I believed it was at the time anyway, and it would change. I mean,
Interesting.
there's times that it looks like there's a bed, that's
Mm,
the same area right there.
wow, same
Um,
blob.
Same blob. Yeah,
What is going on here?
yeah,
This is
same blob
wild.
again.
And look,
So
this
see
one
the
is
guy?
crazy. This one's
Yeah.
spooky.
Yeah,
Guys, you're looking at a face.
yes, there's half of what
Do
looks
you
like
see
the
this,
right
guys?
side of his face with the nose and the mouth. And he,
You're
to
looking
me,
at
almost
his
looked
it,
like a skeleton type
yeah.
guy, or
This
a
is
gray, or
wild.
maybe a gray. I don't know, but it was, again, I do not believe that it was to scare me. I think that
Yeah.
I was not in fear of any of these beings, or at one point I even believed that maybe they were all holograms, and that they had hacked my camera to show me that they were there, and they were putting stuff out just to kind of keep me entertained at times, I thought. But I can't say for sure. Again, I don't know. But there were a lot of different types of beings that I saw.
Yeah,
And
this
also
one is wild.
it sometimes also looked like it was the inside of a ship, or
Mm,
almost like the infirmary. I mean, it was amazing.
it is. Let me know in the comment section. Do you see this? There's an eye on the left, on the top left, and then there's a nose next to it, and then a little mouth. It looks like a skeleton.
Hmm.
Let me know in the comment section if you see it. Phoenix did post a comment if you wanted to. I had a little reply to that, and if you wanted to reply, he says it's not Tesla technology. It was given to us in the 1940s by Valiant Thor, who was an extraterrestrial that worked with the United States government. I
Yeah,
am
I have.
open-minded in terms of
Yeah,
like where it comes from. I don't know anything for sure. I have heard
I
stuff like this. I'm totally open-minded. Again, I'm not an
yeah,
expert. I'm just a journalist trying to research this stuff. But
yeah,
it could be the case. It could be that there's many
absolutely.
different types of medbed technology.
So
But
I have heard that theory as well, and I think that's possible. I do believe, as this was going on, I started looking into Nikola Tesla, and I will tell you that Nikola Tesla had his own experience with aliens, or what he believed to be aliens, and he was given information. So, is it possible
wow,
that they gave him the same information that this Valiant Thor that you're speaking of? Sure. I mean, I think it's highly possible. I think anything's possible at this point. When you go through something like this, you're like, boy, anything's possible. But during the time,
right?
I think in my own mind to not be afraid, I told myself that this was the military and they were coming
Mm,
to liberate me is what I believed. And so
mm.
but again, all possibilities we're open to all. I'm open to all possibilities. I can't say for
That's the
sure what it
thing.
was.
That's the thing. Me and Brandy, we're just sharing our story. Honestly, I think Brandy's story is way more interesting than my story. That's why we're not even talking about my story right now.
Aw.
Brandy's story, what I like about Brandy's story more than any of these other stories, including my story, is that she has screenshots. I had paranormal phenomenon. I saw UFOs. I was abducted. There were some experiments going on. But I bought a very expensive smartphone camera to record these UFO things, this phenomenon, just in case it would happen. It just so happened it happened. I had my phone on me. I had the opportunity to record all the evidence, and I never did. I don't know
Right.
why.
Well,
But
because
she
you're
has
when you're
evidence. She has all these screenshots when they happen. In this photo here, we see the blob, and we also see some faces here. Do you
yeah,
guys see these little eyes here?
yeah.
You
Mhm.
try to zoom in here. You
Yeah,
want
if
to talk
you
about
look
that,
right
Brandy?
next to the green light, there's a little uh yeah, right there. So next to
The
the bright
left.
green light, yeah, there's a little what looks like a little robot guy next to the green light. And certainly all over, you can see those black eyes. Now, at the time, again, I was thinking that so this one doesn't look so as much, but at times it did look like they were wearing black sunglasses. But those were more
Mm,
the kind of the cartoon looking people in the tree. But yeah, the green light there
mm.
again, it looks like something different is in the center of that green light. So it
Now,
changed many times. It was changing almost daily.
wow, interesting. Now, so these black dots we see, is that a
Hmm.
robot with sunglasses? Is that a mantis?
No, I think for me that one next to the green light just looked like a little robot guy. There
And the
the
top one up here, is that a mantis?
That's what it looked like to me, but again,
Okay, hard to tell.
it's
Here's
hard to
another.
tell. I also saw sometimes, and I think I'm trying to see if it's in this photo. It's hard to if it is, it's hard to see,
I
but I
see that
thought I
face
just saw it.
again.
Yeah, but
That
at
weird
times I
face.
would see what looked like a life preserver,
Hmm.
almost like on the outside of like a ship, like a boat ship. So this right here was, if you zoom
This
out
one?
again, yeah, this was, it's hard to tell, but kind of at towards the top of the picture, there's a pole, right? And on the to the left of the pole, this was actually when they showed me my eyes being removed. It's hard to see, but
Interesting.
it looks like I actually it was a hologram of me and I have glasses on. This picture's not great. We do have some other ones that are a little bit better, but again, look
Hmm.
at all of the
Interesting.
things in this photo. There's a whole lot of things going on
Yeah.
that
So we see that orb, that big blob.
mhm,
Was that the most common phenomenon? Was it the blob? Was it the
yes.
robots? What
It
the
definitely
big
the
orbs?
Yeah, definitely the blob, the 3 little guys that it was almost
Wow.
like the 3 little guys would show up and I'd be like, "Okay, they're here." And and then I would see things in the trees, the orbs. I mean, all of this. It was just
This
nonstop.
one, yeah, right. This one definitely I can see like a mantis-like thing or some type
Mhm.
of creature on the left next
Right.
to the orb. I see it like two eyes and what looks like a nose. Do you think this
Mhm.
is the robot or is this a mantis? What were you
No,
seeing at
the
the time?
robots definitely were very robot looking. I mean,
This looks more like a creature bending its neck down or something.
yeah, and sometimes the little robot guys would almost looked like a hamburger, like with like
Is this
two
here? This what you
pieces.
mean by hamburger?
Yeah, exactly. It
Layers,
was
right?
like, yeah, almost like there were two pieces with the white
Interesting.
in the middle. Maybe it was its head. There's yeah, that
Cross. I see the
robot.
crosses here. Guys, do you see that? You see these crosses that are appearing on a ring camera on the top?
So those crosses are not super bright, but some of the other,
I
oh
see
wait, that
them.
there is a big one right there, right in the center.
Yeah,
Right,
I
yeah,
almost
right
see
there.
like yeah, I see like on the top, very top one I see just like a healing cross and this one almost looks like a Jesus cross underneath it. Are
Right.
you seeing that?
Yeah, yeah. And I did see a Jesus cross actually.
What is this? What is going on here? What are they you think? Let me know in the comment section. Are they showing her a healing cross and then a Jesus cross, almost like to say this healing is coming from God? Because he
Well,
seems
I
to be
believe
always speaking
that.
in symbols, and I don't
Yeah,
believe this healing technology and this stuff was negative from any negative entity. This seems
no.
to be patriots, good entities, God, angels, something benevolent,
Yeah, I
healing.
think all of
We
those things were involved.
Yes, absolutely. But we see crosses here. This is a
Mhm.
lot of different phenomenon for a single ring camera. I've never
Yeah.
heard of this anywhere
And
in the
if
world,
and
guys.
wait, go back. Sorry. If you kind of zoom in on the green light at the bottom.
Yeah, it'll be hard, but I can do it.
So for me it looked like that was, well, it's not a great picture, but that was during the time where it looked like there was a bed there and that I was laying on the
Interesting.
bed.
I kind of see a
But
bed shaped thing.
right, and
Is
there's a
that
little being which is not great in this photo, but yeah,
over here on
that's
the left?
no, in the green light. In the green
In the
light.
green light, there's a being. Is it
Yeah.
the two eyes here?
Yeah, well, that's like the body right there laying on the bed right there. Yep.
Interesting.
And that's hard, it's hard to see in this photo, but again,
Wow.
at the time, that's what I believed, and so it would show me kind of laying on
Wow.
my stomach and, I thought that that was me and I was supposed to kinda
Wow.
do as they were telling me to do, and so,
That's wild. Guys, we're looking at a ring camera that for some reason is showing a cross, healing cross, a Jesus cross, an orb, and she says she saw a someone lying down in a bed being reflected on the orb. A lot of these orbs were
mhm,
showing her images, communicating with her. This is a massive amount of paranormal phenomenon to catch on a ring camera. As
it
far as I
is,
know, no one's ever caught this many variety of paranormal phenomenon by
right.
themselves ever in history.
Well,
Other
and
than unless the U.S. government has, I've not seen this many.
you've
Go
gotta
ahead.
realize that also, at the time, I'm taking screenshots, but I was seeing it was it's a live video that I'm
So what you seen
watching.
was better.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just capturing screenshots. In this picture, again, there's the green. It looks different. It's not the same. And there's a little, what I thought, a little frog guy right there.
This a frog guy.
Yes. That's what I thought he was. He looked like a frog at the time.
Interesting. Interesting. I
And
see
then
the
there,
symbol a lot. I wonder if every time it's a frog guy or maybe we're missing it as something else.
and
But I
then
definitely
right
see the
there,
symbol a lot.
and do you see it? It's like there's a being right there to the right of the green light, like inside the green light, but right
Oh,
at the on the right
edge of
side. Do
it.
you see the black hair, the white body? Yeah.
The black hair, the white heart,
That
body.
right there. It almost reminded me of the, remember those little wooden, toys we played with as a kid?
Is this like a
Um,
doll here? The head, the
that's what it,
face, and the black
yeah, it kinda
hair?
looked like it to me. Um,
Interesting. Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So again, this is the hologram of me.
Okay.
The mouth is very distorted because at the time, this was when they were pulling the lips off and putting them back on. So up at the top
Ah,
is actually my head right there. That's
wow.
my head. The lip,
It's your head.
yep. If you go down just a little bit, right, that's my nose. That's my mouth right
It's
there,
your
right
nose and
there.
mouth.
Mhm. And again, it was, it's very distorted because at the time I'm watching the video of my lips being removed and put back on, and I'm like, what in the world? And so I was trying to get
Wow.
good screenshots, but I was
Wow.
also just amazed by what I was seeing. And so,
I'm
you know,
sure.
I
I'm
did the best
sure.
I could, but also here's the
Yeah.
green light again. As you can
Yeah,
see, it
this
looks
green light,
different.
this one's highly detailed to me. I see four lights, one, two, three, four. It looks like a ship.
Hmm.
I see clearly defined upper part here.
Yes.
Very interesting.
Yes,
Very
and
interesting.
again, there's that great. There was always this green overlay, or red, but in this picture again, there's a whole lot of green going on. That's another shot where it's black and white. I don't know why it went black and white and the other picture was green, but that was during the same time.
Wow. You got so many of these, this big blob.
Yeah, and these little robot guys are everywhere all the time.
Yes. Lots of robot guys. I'm trying to get to see what if I can get some photos I haven't. There's just so many photos.
Yeah.
I just get lost in them and I'm like,
Oh,
have
so
we
this
talked
one,
about
oh,
this one yet? Go ahead.
well, there's, yeah, again, there's that symbol again in the center, that
In the
round.
center, yeah. I think it's
Hmm.
here on the right as well, top right.
Yeah, yeah.
See what else we can find.
Oh, all
What
there's
is
so
that
many
we're
little
seeing on the top
beans.
left? What's this?
Yeah, that was the what appeared to me, and you can't tell real well. It's like you can see half of it, but it looked like a life preserver.
A life preserver.
That's what I
Wow.
thought it was.
I see it's clearly defined paranormal phenomenon here. And is that the orb down there, the blob?
Yes, yes.
Wow. Wow.
So the pole was always there. You know, that's
Hole
not
was
part of
always
the
there.
phenomenon. Um, but certainly I did not normally have little robot guys on my patio.
Lots of little robot guys.
Yeah.
Lots of different phenomenon. Is this a little robot creature I'm looking at?
Yes.
What is this?
Yeah. That's what I believe it to be.
Gotcha. Wow. The orb is there again. What are we looking at here? What's
Okay,
on the top and the
so
bottom?
yeah, if you zoom into the bottom there
Yeah.
a little bit, oh, go down. Yeah, so again, that to me looked like it was a life preserver right
Oh,
there.
I see a light preserver a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, with the four
Wow.
corners. Oh,
I see that. I see
oh
that.
no. My hang on, I've got to let me throw my charging cord on my laptop real
It's
quick.
okay. I'm gonna see if I can find another good photo. Oh, here's another very clear photo of the robot. You can see feet here, legs, a body. Very clearly defined robot here. A lot of robots appear in her photos. That's another life preserver one.
And some of
Interesting.
these, like I said, I was zooming in and so, you
That looks a
know,
little blurry.
yeah, this one has a
What is
lot
that
of.
we're seeing on the top here? What is that? What is this? I see like a something here.
Yeah, it looks like for me when I went through this, there were times that I saw these beings and they had these black hats on,
Black hat
right?
guys? You saw the black hat guy?
Yeah, I saw a lot of the black hat guy.
You did? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. So let's
that's it
just
right there.
oh my gosh. So I saw the black hat guy one time with my sister when I was just so if you're tuning in now, black hat guy is a real phenomenon seen by
Oh,
apparently thousands of people worldwide. There's a whole Y-Files episode about it. Black hat guy. You can
what?
watch it. And I saw a black hat guy. He opened the door when I was like 4 or 5 years old and walked in the middle of the night, walked through the room. I was at the top of the bunk bed and he turns his head over to me. He looks like Zorro almost, just wearing black clothes and
Yes.
his black hat. It just looks just like this hat, just like
So
this hat. And he turns to me and says,
if you remember
"Beware."
earlier, the skeleton looking face guy, the half
Yeah,
face, he had a black hat on. That's
interesting,
Yeah. So there were
interesting.
times where there were black hat guy that
Wow.
I mean again, he was just one of the many. Um
Is this another black hat thing guy over here?
yes.
Interesting. Wow. Is this someone looking from behind the pole here? What are we looking
Well,
at
that
here?
right there is that round symbol again.
It's the symbol.
Yeah, and then to the left of the pole, there were guys that it looked like they were peeking their yeah, around the
Peeking
pole.
out in the top or the
Mhm.
bottom?
Both.
So would they peek out behind the pole a lot? That's a little scary.
Yeah, but again, I was never scared of them. I really
Mm,
believed that they were who whatever it was there to help me.
mm.
And so I never feared them,
Wow.
except in the very beginning when I had no idea what was happening. Obviously, with the frequency hitting me and seeing something outside, I was definitely having some fear. But it was almost like uh, I don't know. It was like I was being soothed and I just somehow knew that they were not there to hurt
Interesting.
me
That
after
makes sense.
that.
What are we seeing here on the bottom right?
Yeah, your guess on this is as good as mine,
Okay.
but again, it
There you
looked
go.
to me
Honest
like a
answer.
little being
It
um
does. Looks like
and with
something.
almost like with a light on its chest. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's
Okay.
also a being right there behind it or above it
Here.
to the left, right. Yeah, see the square in the center?
This guy
No, over
or
to the
this one?
left. Yeah, if you zoom out a little bit, just a bit. Yeah, so there's a very faint face right next to that box.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. There was like one really good creature shot I wanted to show. I can't find it. Sometimes I get lost in these photos
There's a
and I
good
can't
one up
find
at the
like my
top
favorite
there.
one.
Oh,
Which
if
one?
you go back. Okay, zoom into the top of the screen. Oh,
This one? Zoom
yeah.
into the top. Is that a face
Yeah.
I see?
Oh, yeah, there's lots of things going on,
Is that
but
Yeah, go ahead. So
to
what do you see here?
again, it's the little robot guys, but it to me looked like um, you know, one of the little robot guys. But this was also a very familiar, scene that happened a lot with
Which
these
was
little
what?
guys everywhere.
Wow. Now, quickly, could you just tell us? I mean, I've asked this question last time. It's kind of like a silly question, but as a technology person, explain to the audience why you didn't just go out and like upgrade to a higher quality Ring camera? Because
Well, I
some
was
people would be like, "Wow, I'm catching a lot of good footage here. Let me upgrade."
well
People
for
were making
me,
you think you're crazy when you try
yeah,
talked
but
about
and
this,
nobody would
right? They
even
were
look at the
doubting you.
photos. Most people wouldn't even look at the photos. They were
They
just
wouldn't
like,
even
"What
look
are
at the
you
photo.
talking about?" But
You were
and
bedbound,
go
right?
back. I want to go back to that picture that was just up because there's something to see there. But
Here?
I didn't go out and get new upgrade. I was sick and I was going through this healing, and this was all consuming of my time, my energy.
Sure,
I was staring out my Ring camera most of the time and trying to capture different things and focus on my healing. And so
got
I
it.
didn't have any, and because what I was seeing was very clear.
Mm,
There it is a little blurry on some of the photos, well, a lot of them, but I think that's by design. I think that,
yeah,
but so in this photo right here, right in the
yeah.
center, there is a guy standing in front of the pole. If you kind of zoom out, that's a little blurry right there, but you can see his feet, his black feet, and
Is
he's
it
leaning
here
up against the pole.
or is it here?
Yeah, those are his feet. If you go
Okay.
up, that's his
What
body, and
is
he's
this his
leaning,
head?
that's his head. He's leaning up against
Wow.
the pole.
I see it. Actually, I do see it actually. So he
Yeah, it's
looks like a
very
little gray alien,
faint.
though.
Hmm.
Is that a gray alien
I mean,
type
that's what
thing?
it looked like to me.
Wow. I wonder if you had upgraded to like HD Ring camera, like all the
Hmm.
phenomena would be like boop. They're like, oh no. Now she's got way too much evidence on us. It's almost like the Ring
Right.
camera quality was low enough that they're like, because creatures don't want to be caught on camera.
Yeah.
Usually phenomena doesn't want to be caught on camera. And if they don't want to, they can hide themselves. It
Well,
was almost like they
also,
were like, well, she doesn't have strong evidence. It's kind of blurry. I wonder if
right.
you got like HD, they'd be like, okay, now if
Well,
we're really gonna expose ourselves and freak people out. So let's
yeah.
stop the
Well,
HD.
initially, too, I realized during a lot of this process that the Ring camera, the battery would either, like, you can even see in some of the screenshots it says battery low,
Uh,
or something to that effect. But
wow,
and so the camera would have to be charged. My ex-husband
wow,
would charge and so there were times that I couldn't get anything. But and when the battery was low, at times it was a little bit more blurry. And
got
so
it. But this is
That
crazy. It's clearly I see a face and I see his feet and
yeah.
I see the creature. He's leaning on the pole kind of like this or something.
Yeah, and you can see over to the right of the pole, just above, yeah, there's another little guy
Creature.
right there.
Wow. Wow. How were you not spooked out when you saw this stuff? Oh, here's a good picture of those three lights.
Yeah, and there's a great picture of the medical cross up at the top right there of that. Yep, right there. If you zoom in, see, and to me, it looked like they had little faces, like little, the three guys had little faces to me, but
Oh, I
that,
see it. They almost look like
right,
they have three different personalities here.
right. And, but yeah, that was one of the medical crosses right there that I saw. Um,
Interesting.
yeah,
Wow. Do you want to
but
talk
it
about these
always
three
looked,
little guys? I got to take a quick break again. I'll be right back. And if you want to take a
yes.
break at some point, I can
No, it's
get
all
back
good.
to you.
I'm
But
I'm okay right now, but to me it almost looked like these three little guys were smiling. And at times kind of you can kind of tell in this photo, but it was like the inside of what I imagined was their mouth, which is the white part. Um I could see things inside there almost like in the other photos that have the green blob. He called it what I thought was like a little green ship. And it would change inside that little green ship, and I would see different things. So in this same thing with these three little guys, I would sometimes see things within the white light. And I believe that this photo, the line above the middle one, that is not the pole. So that is not, the pole is not in this picture. And so that line going up to that, what I thought to be a medical cross, was pretty dark. I mean, you can see it really well. And so I absolutely, I don't know. I had some sort of comfort from these beings, but so at times
wow.
also it would look almost like computer screens.
Hmm.
I think this might be one. It's next to the pole. It's tough to, this one doesn't have a great, but yeah, right there. It almost looked like there were a lot of computer screens at times that were black.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Really. I wonder if sometimes you were, up in a spaceship in a med bed or something like that, and maybe they were just using that technology to like make you think you're just lying down in your bed.
Hmm.
And then sometimes that technology would fail or weaken, and you'd kind of see like glimpses of like, oh, I see like monitors in front of me. I see like beams,
Right.
and it's just an idea I
So
had. I do know
I,
that to some extent, some entities can control or some technology can influence what you see.
right, right. Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely possible. I did forget to tell you after I went through that second taking up and what when I believe I met God, and that's when my PTSD, anxiety, and depression were gone. But the
Um,
as I was writing things that next morning after that happened, I didn't know why I was writing it, but I opened up my
hmm,
notepad and at the top of the page I wrote, I am. And I didn't
hmm,
know why I wrote it, but I talked to one of my family members about what I was, what was going on. I basically filled up the page with who I am. And, but again, I didn't know why I wrote it. When I told a family member this, they said, Brandy, God is called the great I am. And I was like,
ah,
oh my gosh, absolutely, that
mm,
makes sense. And so I do believe somehow I was, because I also believe that when you have a meeting with God like this and some really profound things come out, and
mm,
it's so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And people have said to me, well, they have voice to skull technology. How do you know that that's not what was happening? And I will
mm,
tell you that when you are in the presence of God, you know it. There's no
mm,
denying it. It
right?
is the most beautiful experience I've had in my entire life,
Wow,
besides having my
wow,
children. And
wow.
it's something that is unforgettable. And the feeling that you got when that love envelops you, it's
Mm.
unlike anything else I've ever experienced before.
Yeah, I believe it. It's, I had a similar weird experience. You said this happened while you were sleeping, right? So
No, no, I
this
was
happened when
not.
you were awake, the God
I was,
experience?
yes, I was wide awake. That's the second
Wow.
time I felt as though I was pulled up, taken up,
Wow.
and
Wow.
yeah. So in none of these experiences was I asleep. There was
Gotcha.
never
Okay,
kind
see
of any sleep
that I only asked
paralysis or
yeah, I only ask because most of my experiences happened when I was asleep. That's the thing.
right.
And I had one experience where I had this weird dream. Dreams normally I'd kind of like, oh well, it doesn't mean anything. But when you have a bunch of other
Hmm.
paranormal experiences and abductions, suddenly dreams hold a different meaning. But
Right.
I walked out to the balcony of my apartment, and outside was this intense angelic figure or whatever, this light. Some people call it like the Virgin Mary or or who knows, but apparently this has been a phenomenon that like a lot of people have been seeing.
Right.
They see this bright light, this bright
Hmm.
energy in their dreams, or in this case, you were literally awake when you got taken and shown this,
Yeah.
and it's
And I will
positive
say,
energy. Go ahead.
right. Sorry to interrupt you.
No,
I'm
go
such
ahead.
a
Go
bad
ahead.
interrupter.
You're fine.
But
You're
if I think of something, I have to say it because I'm older
yes.
now and the memory. But but you know, I think that some people, I believe that God had a part in, there God was throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
do I believe that there were, humans involved or alien? What? Yes, I believe that. But and I do believe
Mm.
the military was involved, and I do believe
Yeah.
that again, it's no coincidence that Trump started coming out right about that time at his rallies saying we are going to get rid of chronic illness. And I
Right?
made a video on YouTube where I posted a video of him saying that, and I said, "Well, how's he gonna do that?" Because I knew that
Yep.
I was being healed and I believed it to
Mhm,
be medbed technology. I
mhm,
also found a
mhm.
connection between Donald Trump and Nikola Tesla about
Yep.
how his uncle, John G. Trump, was one of the first people in Tesla's hotel room after he died, and he did get a case of his research.
Special
And
documents, yep.
right. And so that right there for me was a great connection as to why possibly this could have something to do with Nikola Tesla. Um,
Mhm.
and
Absolutely.
so, yeah,
I
go
do wanna
ahead.
go through, like, the because we've listed them, let me know if I forgot any. 2 rare genetic mutations, you're a cancer survivor, 5 herniated discs, cholesterol, diabetes, acid reflux, eyes healed, pain level 10 pain away,
Mhm.
PTSD, depression. Seems like a dozen things were healed. I've just struggled with
Also,
one of those. What? Go ahead.
Al also, I had, because of previous, surgeries, I was growing adhesions or scar tissue that's
Wow.
kinda thicker than scar tissue adhesions are, but, the surgeon said that I was a super grower. I had to have several, operations just to clean the adhesions out, but I just kept growing
Wow.
them. And that's why I needed back surgery, but they wouldn't do back surgery on me because of the
Mm.
way I grew adhesions. They said, if you get
Wow.
adhesions in your back, you're really going to be screwed. And I was thinking, well, I'm pretty much already
Wow.
screwed anyway right now. But,
Wow.
so at the time, I was willing to try anything. I had epidurals done. I had so many
Wow.
different procedures done on me that were painful
Mhm.
and not fun. And
Absolutely.
so um yeah, so I've not had any issues with adhesions also since this happened. And
Wow.
one thing we didn't talk about on the last live, and this is a little
Yeah,
bit uncomfortable to talk about, but I'm going to
for
because
sure.
it's the truth.
Mhm.
One of the things that I believe about the acid reflux, now I did change my diet a whole lot during this time as I was going through this awakening, and I started eating a
Mhm.
lot healthier than I had ever eaten. I started looking
Mhm.
at labels of food and what's in it and the chemicals and, things
Mhm.
like processed. I stopped eating processed food. I stopped eating sugar. I was really just eating lean meat. Originally, I went straight vegan. Just eating vegetables and fruit as I first went through this for about maybe 3 weeks. And then
Mm,
I went from that into eating lean meat because my doctor said my proteins were low and that I needed meat. And so
mm,
and it's funny because going through an awakening, you're like, I don't want to hurt an animal. I mean, you genuinely go through that. And so I had a hard time eating meat again, and I still have a much harder time eating any meat. I can't have any blood in it. Like there cannot
interesting.
be any blood. I used to be a medium rare steak girl. I can't do that anymore. It has to be
Interesting.
more well done, better cooked. But
Interesting.
um yeah,
Let's
and
let's talk about that for a second. So, Brandy changed her diet around this time. Let's just
mhm,
explore the possibility that she was healed by her diet. Let me just debunk that off the bat. Let me just
yeah.
debunk it off the bat because I have also been on an extremely healthy diet,
Mhm.
all organic for like 10 years, extremely healthy diet. I've had only one of these 12 health problems, a minor hernia disc, and it's taken me 4 years and I haven't healed it. So to
Yeah.
think that just diet alone heals these things is not the case.
No. Well,
There's a
also,
lot more going on. And Brandy had a variety, it sounds like 12 different health problems, some of them genetic. It
yeah,
just things don't work that way. Good diet helps, and I'm sure it was very important for her healing. But you
absolutely.
just look at like diet doesn't heal your eyes with LASIK surgery.
No,
LASIK does
but
that.
also let me just explain the timeline. I didn't start
Yeah.
eating healthy until after I was almost completely healed.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
yeah,
Wow.
I didn't just automatically change my that was something else. I mean,
Wow.
being, having been on pain meds, and boy, my heart goes out to anybody that goes through this because I went to many doctors that didn't believe me about my pain
Mm,
before I had imaging done on my back and things like that. And I left doctors' offices crying because they wouldn't help me. And then on top of that, then once I did get help and did get on the pain medicine, I was, of course, looked at as if I was a drug seeker by all doctors. And they would basically say, oh, I'm not giving you more pain medicine. What they also found out on me when they did genetic testing, which they did two types of genetic testing on me, one to
mm,
find any
mhm,
mutations, and then also how medications metabolized in my body. And what they found was, because I'm a person that could not be numbed at the dentist. So I went through
mm.
nightmares at the
Gosh.
dentist. Had, half fillings done in my whole mouth without shots because they didn't work. And so, and other things that's also in the book about what I went through at the dentist and the big nightmare that I went through. But, and so people, doctors, friends, and family all thought that, oh, she's in pain because she's on so much pain medicine. But what they actually found with my genetic testing was I am somebody that requires double what most people do because of my genetics. And so I
Mm,
remember the day that my pain management doctor came in, and she kept saying to me, your medicine has to be working. And I kept saying, it's not working. I'm still in severe pain. And finally, after that genetic testing, she came in and she said, she had tears in her eyes, and she said, oh my gosh, I believe you now. And I said, what do you mean? And she said that your testing shows that it's not even working until we give you double what everybody else takes. And so that was a really pivotal day for me with just getting some relief because, nobody believed me. And so, but I was even still with getting some relief, which I did get for many years, and I was able to move around and things like that. But eventually, it did get to the point where it was just too painful, even on the medicine that I was on, to walk. And so I did think possibly because the geneticist was a cancer geneticist that I saw, that possibly I had cancer, but they didn't tell me, and that they were going to heal it. Because when does a cancer doctor work outside of cancer? That's
doesn't make
almost,
sense.
yeah, that's almost unheard of. They typically stay within their
In their
scope,
field.
yeah, in
Yeah,
their
let
field
let me
of.
just address this, Brandy, because we've been called this as 100% scammer. So let me
Hmm,
just debunk this real quick. Juliet Kurtek says this is 100%
mm,
scammer. Medbeds are not yet been released. Or there's only one person on Earth mandated by the military to teach about Medbed. Her name is Sky Prince, aka Carrie Ann Thornton. So just to be
oh
clear,
yes,
anyone who's
let me.
claiming they're the sole source of Medbed information is already very scammy.
So let me
Me and
also.
Brandy, yeah, me and Brandy are not saying we're 100% sure. We're just sharing stories. And also this
So I hate to.
Medbed, I'm looking up this company right now, this Medbed
Can I
company.
just address this really quick?
Yeah,
Sorry,
this is fake
let
right
me
here. This
just
is not even
address
a
the
real Medbed.
comment. Let me just address that comment real quick.
Yeah, please. This is ridiculous.
Because definitely, so look, when I went through this, as I was looking in the world to see who was like what this technology was, I didn't even know what it was. Didn't know about med beds at the time. So I start searching what kind of um technology this could be. I came across this same person that you're talking about, and I don't like to talk about
Okay.
other people because
Hmm.
I just don't. But because you addressed it, I'm going to tell you my thoughts on it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Initially, I did find her because she was talking about med beds, and I followed her very closely for several years.
Okay.
And I'm in her Facebook group still.
Okay.
But you know, there were some things that and some people believe she is the end all be all. I get it because she has come out
Okay.
with a lot of information. However, you know, what for me, the reason that I stopped kind of following was because I had shared my story in that group with her and with her, what are they called? The moderators.
Okay.
And one of the moderators came out and I had a lot of people that, you know, said that's an amazing story.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it was even
Got it.
before I wrote the book. But
Got
anyway,
it.
one of the moderators came out at some point and said, you know, if there is someone out in the world saying that they were healed with this technology, they are lying. And I responded to that with, uh, if if this person that we're speaking of has connections and she's getting insider information, because I know what happened to me, she should be able to go to her contacts and verify my story. If she
Yeah.
cannot do that, for me, it was okay, well, then you may not have the connection that you have because
Exactly.
I know what happened to me. I
Yeah.
know I'm not lying.
Yeah.
I know I'm not a scammer.
Absolutely. And let me just finish it off. Anyone who thinks I am actually, I consider myself extremely good at debunking and exposing scammers. Let's just compare two stories right now. Brandy's and Carrie Thornton's, just from my perspective. Carrie's making incredible claims about she is from Venus. She's got Medbed technologies, healed a bunch of people. Her evidence is a fake AI image on her website. That's the image she provides. Brandy is not making claims of selling Medbed, set up your appointment. Brandy is not making crazy claims. And Brandy has thousands of screenshots of evidence of her story. So, just
Yeah.
from a logical scientific perspective, you
Well,
have to analyze things. When people make big claims, they need big evidence. If they're making small, what we see here is Carrie is making big claims, providing zero photo evidence. Zero, just show us one picture of a med bed, not this fake AI thing on your website. Show us one piece of
also,
real evidence. While Brandy is not making big claims, she's making much smaller claims. And she's saying she's not even sure if she's right about this. We're just theorizing because 12 things miraculously healed in a few months is
well, and
amazing.
I also think that not
And she's got
necessarily.
screenshots.
Well, I also think Carrie does do there are a lot of great things that I got out of Carrie's information. There's a
Okay.
lot about you know, consciousness, and I do believe that I went to higher levels of consciousness with the frequency, raising my frequency. I think that
Mhm.
helped. And
Okay.
a lot of the things she says about that, but you know, she's also selling a service of having a reading done and things like that. I don't do any of that. I don't pretend that
See,
I'm,
that's what
and I'm not
concerns
saying
me.
she's pretending, but I'm just saying I that is not me.
Yeah.
I'm just coming out with my story about what happened to me and photos that I have during that time.
Yeah. So with this, I would just
Excuse me.
say, as a broad precaution, if anyone who brings up the medbed story, you should be extremely cautious and skeptical. But you have to look at what do they have to gain and what are the claims being made and what's the evidence. Brandy is making small claims, providing thousands of
Excuse
photos
me.
of evidence, and all the things she's selling is a story where she makes practically no money off of.
Yeah,
This
practically no
person,
money.
practically no money. Carrie Ann is selling very aggressively these healing courses or healing stuff, she's making crazy claims while providing zero evidence. So
Well,
you have to
and
compare and contrast here. If someone is making crazy claims, making crazy money, someone is and providing no evidence, that sounds like a scammer to me. I don't know for sure. I've not researched this person. I'm just saying I don't trust someone who makes extraordinary claims. She's from Venus and she's healing with med beds, but she has no photo evidence. That concerns me a bit. That's why when anytime someone talks about med beds, I'm like, show me proof. When I
yeah,
asked Brandy, I said, you had a story, Brandy. You have a med bed story. Show me proof. Brandy brought the proof. Brandy the screenshots. Brandy has evidence of this medbed story. There's more screenshot evidence of this medbed story than any other medbed lead or medbed insider out there. So it's ridiculous to try to debunk what I believe is the most credible medbed story, which is this one, and then try to support, again, maybe Brandon knows a lot about Carrie Ann, and maybe I'm totally wrong about her. This is just my perspective. I've not researched this person.
yeah, and
Maybe
again,
the thing is,
I'm not trying to put
yeah,
her down in any way. I
I'm just
don't
saying,
like to do that. I just believe also,
yeah,
I followed her for a very long time, and
gotcha.
I do believe she has some great information about higher consciousness, how to maybe deal with your trauma and things like that. I do believe she has a purpose. But again, if somebody says, uh, if anybody's out there saying that they were healed, they're lying. At when I have photographic evidence and they're not able to verify my story, that is the only reason that made me second guess anything about her and kind of stop following. I
Yeah.
To each their own. If you want to follow her, great. I'm not going to say not to. I'm just going to say, be have discernment. Tap
Please
into
have
your
discernment.
discernment.
Exactly. Please have discernment. Let's get back to the screenshots here because I think that there's a lot of interesting stuff here to discuss. But I did want to just talk about the med bed situation because there are a lot of people making money off med beds,
Hmm.
and I don't have a lot of trust in them personally. But I have a lot of trust in Brandy because she has mountains of evidence. What is this a robot we're seeing here? What are we seeing here?
Well, yeah, again, these were it's like it's almost like just the head of the robot.
Here,
Lot of yeah, several heads right there.
here, another
Um,
one.
Again, it was almost, yeah, that one's a little bit different, but it to me almost looked like a burger with like a
Burger,
black
yeah.
center and two white, on each side.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting.
There's the three. If you go back to that last photo,
Hmm.
so there's the three little guys again.
The three little guys.
Hmm.
And then what's all this stuff here?
So what you just pointed at right there
I guess.
looks like a sideways, almost like it was coming in from the side with the eyes,
Hmm.
turned, like the head is
Hmm.
turned.
Like this.
Yeah,
And those are
because
eyes?
yeah, I that's what I saw when at the time.
Gotcha. Hmm. Okay.
There were a lot of times where it was like their heads were sideways or they were peeking around things or, things like
Wow.
that.
Wow. And so in terms of different
And there's
phenomenon that you saw, it was those transparent orbs. There was the three
mhm,
orb guys. It was the
mhm.
big blob. That's three. You
Yeah.
saw this
And
the
then
alien the tree creature things. You
mhm.
saw the robots. That's six. And
The
then
faces
you
on the wall,
did
the
faces on the
we
wall.
did see where the porch light was green and it looked like a Batman where my
Batman guy.
yeah, Batman guy,
The,
and
the
then
mantis.
yeah.
What's your I'd like to hear your theory on why all these creatures are visiting you and this miraculous healing event. And then I'd like to tell you maybe my theory and hear what you think about that because this is quite a variety of paranormal phenomenon.
Mhm.
It's still hard to process that you got so much screenshots here.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, there I kind of thought that this is where I saw a bunch of the computer screens as well. Some of them look
Interesting.
like computer screens to me. Some of the ones that look
Hmm,
like the robot heads looked almost like computer screens. But
interesting.
I do believe that it was like they were letting me know that they were there.
This is the
Um,
one. This is the wild. This is the sorry to interrupt you, Brandy. This is
That's
my
okay.
favorite photo.
Really?
You guys see
It's
this?
so
This is a
interesting.
walking creature.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what you saw here? What did this creature look like?
Yeah, I mean, just like kind of what you there again, there's to me many things happening in this picture.
Just
At
tell
the
us.
top of the picture, was this one? That's part of the life preserver. You can't see all of it, but that's what I thought it was at the time.
Okay. Okay.
Um, but yeah, there is so
Wow.
many things going on in this photo. But um, and again,
Wow.
that right there, if you go down just a little bit, that square right below that looked
This?
again, no, just below that, there's a black square kind of,
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
see
right
it.
there.
What is that?
Yeah, that looked to me looked like at the time looked like a computer screen.
A computer screen.
Hmm.
Wow. And what could you describe in detail? Because we're seeing the blurry version. You saw the video version. This creature, how tall did it look? What color did its skin look? Give us an idea because we're seeing a blur right now, but clearly you have a photo of some type of a paranormal creature, which is
Hmm.
mind blowing on your Ring camera. What are you
Right.
seeing? What did you see? Tell us so we can visualize it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't at times there were things were moving. Other times things were very it was just like it was just there. It wasn't moving. It wasn't, you know, but then other times I would see things flying in and, the green light, I saw it fly in. I saw
Wow.
the little green guys that were, it looked like he was blowing something out of his mouth. He was up in the tree. And then that's when I saw the very large hologram picture of my face, which looked like a big business card. And
Wow.
I was smiling in the picture. And
Wow.
uh, yeah. So,
Incredible.
but again,
So,
like these creatures, a lot of
yep,
times they were either not moving, which is why originally I thought that maybe they hacked my camera and they were like almost showing me things.
got it.
But then
So, like,
other
for example,
times they would be moving and I would be like, well, how are they doing that? I don't
gotcha.
know how they
So
did
they
it,
were
but
frozen at times. And so, like, give me an example. This creature, was
yeah.
he 3 foot tall? Was it green? What are
No,
we, what,
no, he was
temp,
much smaller than that. I would say
right?
most of the ones that I saw, with the exception of maybe a couple, they were all pretty small.
So the
I
robots were around what sizes?
Yeah, I would
Two
say
feet?
maybe not even that.
Tiny robots.
Yeah,
So, like, 1 foot,
maybe. Yeah, it was
maybe.
very,
And
very
this creature
small.
under 1 foot?
Yeah, I would say 1 foot probably
Wow.
was about the size. Some of them
Wow.
even looked even smaller than that.
Was this creature green? Could you tell what color it was?
This no, yeah. I mean, just like in this picture at the time, this one was more of a like my. It was like sometimes the camera would just go black and white, and
Really?
I didn't do anything to
Really?
change the light or the,
Wow.
it just sometimes it would
Wow.
be black and white, sometimes it would be in colors, sometimes it would be red,
Wow.
sometimes it would be
It's almost
green.
like they're deciding what you see.
Yes,
They're deciding what
absolutely.
evidence you have. This creature, so you're saying that in the video you didn't see it any better than we see it here. This is about as good as you were able to see it. Could
Well,
you tell if
again,
it looked like a
I zoomed
robot?
in. I zoomed in on this. And so when you zoom in on a Ring camera, unfortunately, it goes a little blurry.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
I
Do you
mean,
know, was it like biological, do you think, or an artificial, like a robot or like a biological creature? Do you know?
I
Or
can't
hard to
say for
tell?
sure. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I mean, there were so many things going on. I was searching not
Wow.
just this area, but I was searching my whole, front area, my front yard, and patio. Um, and
Wow.
there's one of the computer screens, right?
This is a
Yeah.
computer screen?
That's what I thought it was. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So many different phenomenon with one Ring camera. What do you guys think in the comment section? How
Oh,
could
there was
someone
one of the
get
medical
so
crosses.
much?
If you go back a couple, sorry to interrupt
Again?
you. Yeah, go back again. Right
Oh, I
there at
see
the
the cross
bottom.
there. Wow, look at those crosses, people.
Yep, right there.
One here, one here, one here,
Now, I did
another
tell my
here.
doctor that I believed, because
Wow.
that same cross was on the ships on the West and East Coast, the comfort ships.
Wow.
I did believe that I
Wow.
was supposed to be on one of those ships being healed, and
So yeah, go ahead. I
that
want to back
they
you up.
when they came to get me, which
Yeah.
was my birthday in March of 2020.
Yeah.
Actually yesterday it would have been 6 years ago,
Hmm.
when they came to get me and I didn't answer the door. I believe if I would have answered the door, I would have been taken to one of those ships to be healed. I've recently seen some videos from, or a video from, military personnel that are on that ship. And just the way that she talked about, how rewarding it is to
Look at
be on
this.
this ship. Right. There's the
Look at this.
cross. Yeah.
This is Trump's own image.
Hmm.
So these are just for context. The theory goes that they have these medbed technologies. They're prioritizing the abused and damaged children that they're rescuing. They have these medbed technologies and they're using it on these poor children and women who've been trafficked on these
Hmm.
ships. Here is a hospital boat with the same crosses we were just shown
Yeah.
from the images of Brandy, same and the exact same crosses. And here is Trump saying that he's sending a great hospital boat to Greenland to take care of
Yeah.
everyone who's sick.
And
This
let
is
me just
weird. We
also
have a
say
hospital boat, but he's not showing us the real photo. But the
there
photo has
is
the same crosses we just saw in Brandy's screenshots. There's
yeah,
connections to be made.
there is a backstory which I did tell Peter. It's very personal. And so I haven't come out with this information, but
Yeah.
Peter can probably verify from hearing my backstory,
Yes.
why I believed that I was supposed to be on one of those ships.
Absolutely. I definitely think that um based on what I heard, the personal information, Brandy was a prime candidate for this type of technology. If they were beta testing different frequencies, different type of medbed technologies, bringing her up because again, she had over 12 different health problems, which all were resolved. Um, Almost completely. I hear obviously you're not in perfect health. Medbed technology doesn't heal you forever, and then you're perfect health. You never have to take care of your
Yeah.
health again. But in the course of what 18 months, 12 different health problems resolved themselves.
I think even less than
Um,
that. I mean, I was in bed for two
wow,
years. Um,
wow,
but the healing didn't start right when when I was in bed. Now,
wow.
this picture, wait, go back.
Oh! I messed it up.
Oh,
Uh, See if I find that photo again. No. Oh gosh. So what was that photo that we just saw? I'll have to get back down to it.
yeah, there was some writing in that photo
Writing. Interesting. Let's see if I can get back
that
to it.
because there were times that they showed me like my shoulder had been dislocated for a month and I couldn't wash my own hair.
Wow.
And I saw it written outside. It's Raise Your Arm Day is what it said.
Raise your arm day.
And I could feel
Wow.
them working on my shoulder. My shoulder was popped back in, and it has not dislocated since.
Wow. Wow.
There's the life
That is
preserver.
crazy.
Yeah.
We had the raise your arm day, we had the LASIK eye surgery day, we had bring you up in space and
Joints.
heal your leg, your feet day. They told her to lie in her stomach so they could work on her back day. How was this not, and this was all
Oh,
after she started a research experiment with the military, the same military working on the medbed technology in the same area that she's at.
so
Guys, if
let me
you don't
also
think this, I
say,
don't,
hang on just a second. One thing, and I didn't want to forget this. I started to say it earlier and then we
yeah,
got sidetracked.
go
But
ahead.
one of the things that you hear about with what people believe is alien abductions is
Yeah,
something, and this is a little bit difficult to talk about, because it's just the topic, but and some people laugh about this, but what they call the alien anal probe. Okay,
yeah.
I did experience that,
You
and
did?
I absolutely want you. There's no denying it when something goes there. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
But what I believe that was, I believe, and even if I did have cancer, I believe that I had parasites, very, very bad parasites. I think that was part of some of a lot of my issues. Um, and what I believe is that I had acid reflux so bad because of those parasites. From what I hear, it's the urine when they urinate, it
Interesting.
causes the acidity in your stomach. That's kind of what I
Interesting.
came across. But the next day, because I was being sent videos, it
Wow.
seemed like I was being sent videos after they would work on me. Like the day after my
Wow.
eyes, I would see a LASIK surgery video. The day
Wow.
after this happened, I got a video in my YouTube, which was
Hmm.
highly disgusting. But I will say that I genuinely thought, is that me that they're showing?
Hmm.
Because it was somebody being cleaned out of parasites. And there were, I mean, I'm talking like a bucket load of parasites coming
Wow.
out of this person. And I genuinely thought, oh my gosh, I wonder if that's me. Because
Wow.
it was right after that that my acid reflux went away. So,
Wow. That is a
um,
good, I mean, it could certainly be the case. I will say, well, first of all, thank you for sharing that, personal information. I will just to back you up, because I know people are gonna label you crazy. In my
it's all
family,
right.
there has been 3 generation type of abductions or weird experimentation going on. My mom, my daughter, and me. And I'm revealing also for the first time that at some point I think I did have a
Excuse me.
weird abduction experience in Dubai, actually, where I was all after you first have these experiences where you get taken up. I was very paranoid every night of being taken again. And
Hmm.
one night I was especially paranoid, and then I just woke up with this weird gut feeling that I had been anally probed because I had a lot of pain in that area, something like that. And then next thing I know, I'm walking to work with my friend, and we hear a spaceship fly over us, and
Mm.
there's like it's silence nearby, and there's like literally a futuristic spaceship sounds. We didn't see anything fly over us. Again, I can't prove this for sure. This is just a story. I can't say this is confirmed, but people joke about the anally probe thing, but to be honest, it's a real phenomenon.
It
I could be
is.
it could have been it was all in my head. But I do think this is a real phenomenon. I'm glad people are speaking up about this because things are happening. People are being experimented on. I do think this is a mostly
Excuse me.
benevolent, and definitely in Brandy's story, purely benevolent. Let's talk about those photos.
Yeah,
There was one really good
there is a
one.
photo of a spaceship that
Oh yeah.
is in this list of photos. I don't know where it is, but um,
Do you want to do
there
another
were
live stream
things.
next week where we go through our more photos?
Well, there were things that I was being shown even on my phone. Like I was looking at
Interesting.
Google Earth, and that I actually came across a wash near my house, and that's where I found the spaceship. So it's almost like they were
Interesting.
showing me, oh, we're parked over here, you know.
Really?
That's definitely one of the
Faces.
ones that has the black glasses on. It looked like
One
to
eye
me.
here, one eye here.
Yeah.
Face.
Excuse me. Ooh,
Wow.
yeah.
That's pretty incredible. Did you want to, or do you think you'd be available for next Saturday? We could choose now that we got the audio fixed, confirm the audio is very good. Maybe next time, if you are available, Randy, we could, I could go through all the photos. Maybe you could send some more. We could circle stuff and then go a deep dive into these photos because honestly, these photos I'm very passionate about. I think they're treasure trove of paranormal photos. We need to make copies of these photos. These are historical photos. These might be some of the first photos in history of creatures we've
Hmm.
not photographed that have not been released to the public. A
Right.
lot of paranormal phenomenon here.
Right there is
Just
the
look at
number
this one.
17.
Yeah,
The
this
number
one was interesting
17.
because she saw there's a number. The light is turned into like the number 17, which is a very magical, great awakening number nowadays.
Well, it also is the 17th letter of the alphabet, um, if you know about that. And also, a lot of that information, excuse me, was coming to me. And on top of that, um, that conspiracy theory, that 17th letter of the alphabet, they
Yeah,
talk a lot about rescuing children from tunnels.
exactly.
What I always say out in the world when people talk about that, I say it's not just children and it's not just tunnels. It's
That's
also
exactly
people
right.
that, needed help.
I 100% agree. I 100% agree. I think that there's a lot more going on that we're not aware of. There's another photo here of so it's a green light. It's supposed to be
Sorry.
like a white light, but it's showing a green light.
Yeah,
Just so many photos here to go through. I feel like we never have enough time for these photos.
I
I'm trying to
know.
get
There's so
one
many.
one that I really liked, another one that looked like a creature. I have to learn how to use the software. But is there anything else did you want to share real quick? I'm gonna take one more quick break. If you want to just tell a little bit about your story, let me bring up the picture of your book actually, and then so people can know where to buy it. If you're very
Yeah,
interested in Brandy's story, I would just say this. Oh, someone's asking what's the title of your book. It's called Chronically Ill No More, and it's available on Amazon. Let me bring it up here. This is one of the most incredible stories in history. I can see this genuinely be made into a very interesting movie. I would watch that,
right.
pay to watch that Brandy's movie. Someone make a movie out of this.
I'm
My
trying.
story,
I'm
my
trying.
paranormal story was interesting. Brandy's is beyond interesting. It's fascinating because she has so many screenshots. Again,
And
the key
thank you,
defining
Linda,
factor
for
is she's
your
got evidence.
yeah, thank
She's
you,
got
Linda,
evidence.
for your comment.
Yes. Let me show you that. So this is her book. If you want to talk about your book a little bit real quick, and then we'll wrap this.
Yeah, so I will say that, as a newbie, I'm not an author. I've never been an author. I, for some reason, thought throughout my life that I always wanted to write a book, but I didn't really have anything to. I don't know. I just didn't have any ideas on what I would write a book about. And then when this story happened, I was like, this story has to be told. Now, I also want to say that I came out with this book not to make money. I came out with this book because number one, it's an amazing story. Number two, for me, when I was in bed, I had no hope. I had no hope. I thought I was going to die in that bed. I didn't think I was going to make it back out of the bed. And I know that there are a lot of people that are chronically ill out there that, have no hope. And so, even though I've been ostracized, even though I've been called crazy by people close to me, I've lost people close to me that I absolutely love. Um, and some people just can't wrap their head around the story. Excuse me, still getting over a cough. But ultimately, I put this story out, and I'm out here talking about this story because I want those people that have no hope to possibly have a little hope of what's to come. Um, and so I am okay with getting ostracized and called crazy, and I've gotten used to it. It's just a thing that happens, and
Mhm.
I will say that when I was in bed, I was making jewelry. As I was being healed, I was teaching myself to make jewelry, and I jumped out of bed. Well, I didn't jump, but after I got out of bed, I started a jewelry business, and I had a shop in downtown Tucson. And people would come in, and I'd just get full body chills, and I'd say, okay, I guess I'm supposed to tell you my story. I don't know why. And this was actually before the book came out. But everybody that I talked to, that I said that to, always said, I know why you were supposed to tell me. One person would say, I have cancer, and I needed hope. And you're giving me hope that, about what's to come. And so, honestly, these people were as healing for me as I was for them, because I was realizing that by telling this story, it was giving people some hope. And so
Yeah,
that's when
yeah,
I decided to
yeah.
write the book. But one of the women that came in and I told my story to, she said, I'm about to freak you out. She said, and I said, well, I had some aliens, I at the time I called them fake aliens because I wasn't really sure what it was. But I said, I had some fake aliens show up at my house and heal me. I don't think you can freak me out. And she said, well, have you ever heard of Medbed technology? And I said, I have, because I looked into, what this technology could be. And she said, well, I've heard of it too. And I've heard that it's frequency based. And I said, well, that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? And with my story. And she said, yes. She said, but now I'm really about to freak you out, because I had told her that I believed the military was involved. And she said, well, I've heard that the military has this technology and they're healing chronically ill patients first. And again, I
Wow.
said, well, that makes a whole lot of sense. So that's why I decided on the title Chronically Ill No More, which is not, some people thought it wasn't a great title, but for me, a lot of the people that are chronically ill, um, it's for me, it meant something. The name just it fit,
It's
and so
powerful.
yeah, and um, I think that if one person gets hope from my story, it makes everything worth it. Because
Yeah,
to be that one person for me when I was in bed and I mean, I literally had no hope. Um, for me, it's worth it if one person gets
absolutely.
hope and chooses to
Absolutely.
kind of hold on to life a little longer until this technology comes out. Obviously, they had to try it on some people, and I think I was one of the people they tried it on.
Absolutely.
And it's funny because during COVID, there were nurses and doctors doing TikTok videos dancing, and that was not long after I was healed. I will say that in my mind, I thought they must have healed something really big to be dancing like that. And
Absolutely.
also, um, I just believe that there were just things that were happening that for me made a lot of sense with what I was going through. And nobody really went through the whole thing with me. I kind of went through all of it alone
Mhm.
because nobody believed me. And so if I could have gone back, I mean, even in the book, there's so many things that happen that I couldn't touch on because there's so much, and so little pieces come out here and there where I'll remember, oh yeah, this happened and this happened. And some people are like, oh, well, her story changed. No, it didn't change. It's just that sometimes, even when I was writing the book, there are things looking back now that I wish I would have put in there. But at the time, I just was trying to get the story out as quickly as possible. And
Absolutely.
so that's why and again, there was so much information that happened, so many things that happened, so many, if you look up the song Rescue by Lauren Daigle, that song came out right around or I heard it for the first time right before my healing. And it says,
Wow.
I will send an army to get you in the middle of the night, in the middle of
Wow.
your hardest fight. And I really believe that that's not a coincidence that that song came out or that I heard it
Yeah,
when I did.
I agree. I agree.
So,
And I think you're giving a lot of people hope. I did want to tell people my take on this story, and I also want to answer Forrest here. He says, "Aren't you under an
okay.
NDA until April?" To be clear, the way that work is you are not allowed to disclose information if you know the information. So
Right.
if you're one of the scientists working on this technology, you're under an NDA. But Brandy,
Absolutely.
no one has gone to Brandy and said, "This is Medbed technology. Please don't tell anyone." This
Yeah.
is technically unconfirmed. Technically, all
Mhm.
Medbed stories are unconfirmed until we actually see it in real life. Is technically unconfirmed.
Mhm.
Um, so this is just us theorizing because here we have a scenario where there's multiple, first of all, thousands of screenshots, at least a dozen different types of paranormal phenomenon, advanced healing in a few months of 12 different types of healing problems, the perfect candidate, a research study, the military. I've heard a lot of comments talking about how there's an NDA and Medbed's going to release in April and August. I would just have caution trusting these things. I would have your guard up and be skeptical. Anytime someone's saying it'll be released on this date or this date or this date, have caution. The only one who's going to announce Medbeds, in my opinion, is not this Carrie woman, not Brandy, not me. If you want the
Mhm.
official source for Medbeds, look to Trump's True Social account. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Well,
Anything not
also,
coming from until it's confirmed with Trump, I would say don't trust the person 100%. Not even us, nobody.
so I
Unless it
will
comes to Trump, I would not fully trust that. I mean, I do honestly, I totally trust Brandy and I believe her story 100%, to be honest with you. But I'm just saying
well
there's a lot of
also,
people, there's a lot of people making money off this medbed thing. And
yeah.
the only true source is Team Trump. They're the only ones who truly know. Go ahead,
Yeah, and I
Brandy.
will say that during this time there were a whole lot of people including the people that we've named, that have said that we're saying, oh, it's coming out in 6 months. Oh, it's coming out. And the date would always get moved and moved. I
Yeah.
was watching all that during the time that I was being healed. And trust me, no one wants this technology to come out more than I do, because it will prove my story true. You know, I think that people can't somehow grasp that it was shot at me, that, you know, I wasn't in an actual bed. I was in my bed, but
Mhm.
again, if you know about the direct energy weapon that Nikola Tesla created,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I will say that I've done a lot of
Excuse me.
research because I did my best videos on my channel are Medbed technology. I've done research,
Mhm.
and it appears that more than half of the healing modalities that these technology use are being done wirelessly.
Mhm.
Vibration, frequency, light, energy beams. So it's very plausible that she was part of a research study where some of these energy beams were being used as a distance, or the same technology in the med beds, and maybe they finished healing her when they took her up. We don't know. Again, Brandy is not claiming to sell any medbed technology. She's not claiming to have a photo of medbeds. But what
Mhm.
she does claim is she has an incredible story. She's got thousands of screenshots, which we've all seen. She's not hiding anything. She's showing everything for the world to say, being totally vulnerable at her expense, because stuff like this does damage your reputation among most people. But as we all speak
Yes.
up about it and are brave, we look less crazy. And then people are feel more brave. There's a lot of this stuff going on, but people too are scared to say anything. So thank you, Brandy, so
Right.
much.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. That is so true. And again, I wish that my story, you know, wasn't didn't happen in a way that made it difficult for people to believe. In a perfect scenario, you know, and I will say that if I didn't have the screenshots, I probably would not have come out in the public, because it would have been, for me, it would have been too ambiguous
Fantastical.
for people to, yeah, for people to believe it.
Fair enough.
And so the only reason that I have put my life on the line and my
Reputation.
reputation on the line is because I do have these screenshots
You
that I
do.
was so lucky and blessed to get. Um, but you know, again, I absolutely believe that Trump is involved. I believe that it is
Yeah.
not a coincidence that he came out and said we will get rid of chronic illness, as my
Yeah.
chronic illness was being healed.
Yeah.
That
This
the
is
coincidence is just too
right.
much.
Exactly. There at some point you have to realize there are advanced technologies out there. Trump promised to get rid of diseases. He's working on these technologies. We think with Elon behind the scenes, they're going to be tested. There's going to be experimental tests on these. The military's
Hmm.
going to be involved. It seems likely it's happening in Tucson, where Brandy these events occurred. It just
Tucson.
seems so likely that she was one of the candidates in this beta medbed experiment.
Yeah.
Again, I struggled to believe Brandy because I'm always open-minded but highly skeptical. But I was
Mhm.
floored to see these screenshots, and I agree that this is the most, in my opinion, the most credible medbed type story ever. Again, there were zero confirmed medbed stories, but I'd say this is by far the most credible because there's mountains of evidence and connections. And if you just listen to Brandy for 2 hours in this stream, and you see all the coincidences, eventually it's not a coincidence. This is a real event that happened, real healings.
Mhm.
And I have seen a lot of people filled with hope with Brandy's story. Me personally, my take on this, I think this was a real bad experiment for medbed technology. I think medbeds are real. Brandy's telling the truth. I think that a lot of these low quality but insanely interesting photos she got were to validate her story, so people like me and Brandy could get her story out. Because as Brandy said, it would be hard for anyone to believe Brandy. She wouldn't even publish the story without the screenshots.
Yeah, and
But
let me
now
also
her
say
story
that
is getting out.
even before I wrote the book, I was losing people in my life that
Yeah,
couldn't wrap their head around it.
it's
And
hard.
let me just explain to people,
Yeah,
some of the
please.
people closest to me that I loved the most were the most skeptical. And I
That's
lost
hard.
I
I'm
lost
sorry.
a whole lot. And so
I'm
people
sorry.
don't, for me to come out and tell this story after losing people that were, closest to me because of the story, why would I continue on? If that's kind of
Right.
how it started, and I thought
Hmm.
there's a possibility that, maybe this was all in my head or whatever. I would never come out further, write a book, and go
Right.
on podcasts. You're my
Right.
Peter. You're my third podcast that I've been on, but I would not put myself out there like that to lose even more people in my
Yeah.
life that I
Yeah.
love.
Yeah. For
Um,
what?
for
For
what?
$10 in book sales? This is ridiculous. You're not doing it for money.
Seriously, I, I
You're doing
make
it for hope.
I'm making less than $10 on when I sell 4 books, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and every book is, it's like to sell a book out in the world, market it yourself. I don't have
It's
a
hard.
fancy
Marketing
publicist
team.
that's getting me out there. I'm doing all this on my own while I am working, trying to survive just like everybody else in the world.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, people don't realize how much work that is. I've been talking
Yeah.
about this for 6 years. I came out
Wow.
immediately and started talking
Wow.
about it because I knew what was happening, or I believed I knew
Mhm.
what was
Mhm.
happening. And again, I, got ostracized by people I didn't know, people
Mm.
telling me I'm a scammer, people, I understand people's skepticism, but trust me when I tell you, I would never put myself out there to lose more people in my life if I did not believe I knew what was happening. Can I say this is a medbed? I believe it is, but can I
You do.
verify that? No.
No one
But
can.
also, I think it's very possible that the medbed is a conglomeration of many technologies
Yeah.
that are kind of put together. And so I do think that part of what they used on me was partly medbed technology. Was
Absolutely.
I laying in a bed? No, I was laying in my bed. But again, it's yeah, that's
And they took you up at one point, so we don't know what
twice.
happened then.
Yeah.
We don't know if they took you up other times as well. I will say because when I came out with my paranormal story, it was very difficult to see like people who loved me, cared for me,
Mhm.
people who I thought would trust, totally believe me. And then because it was such an odd story, paranormal, that contradicted their religious beliefs, it was
Mhm.
just an absolute no, you're wrong. It was
Yeah.
probably demons or something else or a bad dream. And that's very difficult emotionally to
Mhm.
go through things and not be believed. That takes a huge emotional toll, psychological toll. Thank you so much, Brandy, for sharing your story. I know in my heart you're doing this for bravery, you're doing this for hope, you're doing this for
Yes.
love of humanity, to get this important information out. I think those beings wanted to be on camera to validate your story, to get your story heard. And I hope your story gets onto Joe Rogan, because if your story gets onto Joe Rogan, I think we're really going to make waves, because your story is fascinating. And if Joe Rogan knew you had 30,000 paranormal photos, he might put you on his show, I think.
Well, I would love to get on Joe Rogan, the Y Files, mainly because
Right?
I would love to put the photos up on a really big screen and
Right?
be able to actually stand there and point at everything and
Right?
really give a good, overlay of what's going on and in the pictures of what I saw. I mean, you did a great job, Peter. I think it's tough to see on a screen of the
Yeah.
size that we're on. I would that's another reason why I wanted to make a movie, was because I wanted on the big screen where you can actually see inside the orbs and see what's in there. Um,
Mm.
there are people I know like Chris Bledsoe. He came out with
Yeah.
his story about a woman that he had an experience with. Um, for me, I believe that not only humans, aliens, but God absolutely was throughout it. And so,
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is my second favorite photo before we leave. I couldn't find it in the Google Drive, but I'm just putting it up on the screen here.
yeah.
This is another being that I see here. I see his eyes, dark eyes. I see a head.
Hmm.
Is he holding onto a pole here
Well, he's like in the middle of the poles.
in the middle of two poles? Is he
Excuse
sitting on
me.
something?
No, this it was the pole that was normally you know, I don't know, not pole. There's two
There.
poles with, I don't know what it's called, like from the awning of the patio coming
Got
down
it.
down to the concrete on the
And
patio.
is this a big creature? He looks big to me.
Well, it's about the size of in between the, you know, I don't what are those? I don't even know what those are called, but it's like a little decorative metal part that came down from the roof of
You
the patio
you still
roof.
you still live here, do you? Do you still live
No.
here? Oh
No.
man, I wish you could take
That's
pictures of it.
yeah.
But
I
we
do
do have, I
have
think,
other yeah, I
some
do have
screenshots.
other pictures of I mean, even in these pictures, there is a screenshot of those poles with
I think
it's like
we'll show them later. Do
yeah,
you want to come
but
for another live stream on Saturday? Are you
yeah,
available, Brandy?
I might have to wait a couple of weeks. I've just got a
That's
lot
fine.
that I need to get caught up on and
Okay, okay.
you know, I would
I'd
like
love to do this
to
again.
yeah, absolutely. I think you know, now that we have a really good podcast of the story and I think then we can kind of really focus on some of the pictures and possibly
Exactly.
I don't know even if we did it in 2 weeks if I'll have time to kind of go through the other 30,000 photos because that's a big job.
It'd be worth the
Um,
wait, I will say.
yeah. So,
Absolutely. One
but
last question I had
even to
before you
just go
go.
through these photos a lot better as well.
Yeah, again, we have the whole video out showing your story. I think this is a great representation of it. I do want to get into the photos. Could you just tell us how tall this creature was? Was this, would you say 2 feet, 3 feet?
Yeah, about 2 feet.
2 feet. And then could you just tell us visually what you saw? Did this look like a monkey creature? Did it look like an alien, like a robot?
So no, that actually, again, earlier when we saw the photo of me where I was saying it, they showed me this hologram of me and, you know, the lips were being removed and put back on. So this is in that same spot that that picture was
Got it.
taken. And if you look, if you zoom in a little bit, you can see that it appears. Now, I at the time was not sure if they were trying to show me again or if this was another being, but it definitely looks as if it's wearing black sunglasses.
Right?
And so, and again,
Very
the
interesting.
I called it the little green ship that showed up
Down there,
and
that white light, that's the ship, right? The
yeah,
blob.
the green, yeah.
Wow. Wow. Well, I won't keep you any longer. Thank you, Brandy. I appreciate your time. Appreciate your bravery, your story. Please buy
Thank
her
you.
book if you're interested in it. I think this is one of the most interesting Medbed stories possible. I'm going to buy her book because I want to find out more about this story. It's so interesting. Thank
Thank
you
you,
all for
Peter.
watching. Brandy, would you like to say goodbye?
Yeah, I just want everyone that, you know, has watched and that supported me in any way. I want to say a big thank you. I could not have done this without you. And people have really pushed me to come out with this story because of their support. And so I just want to say a big thank you. Again, I could not have done it without you. So we're all in
Thank
this
you.
together.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brandy. God bless you.
Thank
Take
you, Peter.
care.
God bless.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.